Let's also introduce guests who are joining us, experts, Advocate Anish Agarwal, who is advocate on record for the Residents Welfare Association, and Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Anish Agarwal, first a word from you. It's a big victory for the Residents Welfare Association, a decade-long battle, legal battle, and of course the big victory that came in, that not just have the illegal structures being completely brought down, but the Supreme Court also saying that the home buyers should be compensated.
Certainly, it's a big victory for all the residents of the society as well as the buyers. Everybody has apparently been ordered to be compensated, and it has taken us a long time to get this victory. And we hope that it gets demolished in a safe manner so that the victory is not spoiled. It took a long time, and the residents have really fought together. Over a period of time, so many residents came together, and the builder, even after the judgment, they sought to sow the seeds of this thing between various residents. However, they stood together and fought against the builder and have finally won against this, against all the lies that have always been given by the builder, starting from the fact that originally it's a two-plot theory. There are two separate plots, and then they sought to say that these are two separate societies. And when nothing could work, ultimately the residents won.
Okay, I just want to ask you one question that's been on the minds of several of our viewers as well. The fact that this is a one-off case, there are so many illegal structures across the country, and one of the reasons why there is such a connect to this, demolition of the towers is also the fact that there are so many illegal structures across the country. So this, of course, was in very close proximity, so there were several safety hazards as well. So as the victory came in, it's a big victory, of course, yes, but how did the victory come about? How did this become a one-off case where we're seeing the entire illegal structure being brought down?
See, there is a distinction between a mere irregularity and something which is grossly absurd and something which is grossly hazardous and risky for the residents. So firstly, these towers are extremely close to one of the other towers in the society, which is only 9 meters, and therefore there was a fire risk, there was a problem with the lighting, there were a host of other problems. Apart from this aspect, these towers have been built practically and rather literally on the green area of the society, which was not present when the original flat owners were sold their flats. Originally, when it was sold, there was a massive green area in front of the then existing towers and the place where these towers are existing.
I just want to, apologies for interrupting, very quickly, I just want to take in some breaking news that's just coming in. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has tweeted on the demolition that's all set to take place, and he has said there is no place for illegal in New Uttar Pradesh of New India. In the same sequence, the illegal twin towers of Noida based Supertech, a symbol of corruption of the governments of the previous opposition parties, are being demolished today. Illegal culture is being eradicated under the leadership of Maharaj Ji. That's a statement coming in from Yogi Adityanath's office. Sabyasachi is joining us with more details on that. Sabyasachi, very important message that's come in from the Chief Minister's office, that there is no place for the corrupt, also blaming the previous governments, because remember the Supreme Court had also said that the illegal structure came in with the collusion of the builders with the Noida authorities.
Well, absolutely. A big statement by CM Yogi Adityanath, who clearly mentions that there is no place of illegal in New Uttar Pradesh, in New India. And he clearly mentions that the Twin Towers were the sign of corruption and the involvement of the previous regime. And clearly, the time when the Twin Towers was being built, it was built under the right under the nose of the Noida authority. And at that time, the previous government was running running the government. So clearly it's a very big message from Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who himself is closely monitoring every single situation which is related to the demolition of the Twin Towers. On Friday, he personally reviewed entire development that is taking place, and it was clear instruction given to him, given by him to all the officials, stating that the priority should be the safety of the citizen, and also focus should be on the environmental
brazen violations that had taken place one after the other by the builders, and the residents had been suffering. So it's a big message, an explosive message, quite literally, that's going out. We're slipping into a very quick break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Like we promised, every aspect of the big story of the day, the demolition of the Twin Towers of corruption in Noida. And just as we are getting you every aspect of the story, the authorities here have also ensured that every aspect of it is taken care of. So we told you about how residents have been evacuated from the nearby areas. They've been taken to a safer location. And so is the case with the animals in the area as well, not just the pets of the residents, but the other animals from the area have also been evacuated, taken to a safer place to ensure that nothing happens to them.
हम और हमारी जैसी बहुत सारी टीमों ने लगभग 35 डॉग्स
35 आपने अभी इंश्योर कर लिया है कि अंदर
एसीपी साहब ने कहा है कि अभी 12 बजे तक आप यहाँ रहिए। आज भी हमने 2 रेस्क्यू किए हैं, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कैंपस में नहीं है, पर आसपास के डॉग को अटैक ना पड़ जाए, डर ना जाए, घबरा ना जाए, तो हम लोग रहेंगे यहाँ। लार्ज एनिमल्स भी हम लोगों ने यहाँ अराउंड 18 के करीब यहाँ से हटा दिए हैं या दूर कर दिए हैं यहाँ से लोकेशन से। वो 8 अगस्त से पहले ही कर दिए थे, क्योंकि लार्ज एनिमल्स में कैप्चर करने में बड़ी दिक्कत होती है, वो सब हो गया है।
So we're talking about the legal aspect of the case as well. Remember, this is a big story of a legal and a moral victory for the homeowners who had built their homes there, after which the illegal structure came in. Not just was it a safety hazard, but it was also an illegal structure. But this battle went on for about 10 years, after which finally victory has come their way, and today they're going to see this illegal structure being brought down. 9 seconds is all it's going to take for the entire structure, over 100-meter tall, to be brought down. To talk to us about the background of the case, what was the battle all about, and why is this demolition so important, not just for the residents but for the entire country? Guests joining us this morning: Aishwarya Sinha, home buyers lawyer, and Siddharth Modi, lawyer and partner at Desai, the law firm that was involved in this. Vikram Singh, former DGP, as well, to speak about the illegality and of course the kind of preparations that are in place. Mr. Aishwarya Sinha, firstly, for the home buyers, it's been a long battle. We've spoken about that. But what were the challenges? Because, you know, like we're mentioning time and again, illegal structures are there everywhere across the country. Unfortunately, it's found in several places. So I'm sure in this case as well, when residents take on such big builders, there were several challenges that they faced.
See, fighting against a builder, they are always, you know, on the weak side, because what happens is the builder has a lot of strength in all departments to sort of counter them. But hats off to the Resident Welfare Association to fight it out right up till the Supreme Court put their best foot forward. You know, it's a landmark and unprecedented order of sorts, because till date, such an order of demolition has never been passed, that too being affirmed by the Supreme Court. Now, what is an important aspect what must be kept in mind is that generally some deviations or illegal structures which are constructed by the builders, the authorities or the courts are sometimes allow it to sort of legalize by paying certain penalty or compensation. But in this case, you know, the courts went on to actually pass the order of demolition and confirm it, because sometimes the judicial process is being used to legalize an illegal act. So that is something, you know, a strong message to the builders, to the authority, because clearly the authorities were complicit in the entire process, because after all, you know, you cannot build a tower overnight, and that too about 60 floors and, you know, all of those things. So when we see that, it's a landmark unprecedented order, never passed by the Honorable Supreme Court, and it's finally taking shape today. So big kudos to the court and the RWA to fight it out.
That's right. I want to bring in Siddharth Modi, lawyer and partner at Desai and Devanji, the law firm. One of the thoughts in the minds of several viewers, and we opened up callers as well, a lot of viewers had called in to ask us one question. We are glad that the illegal structure is being brought down, but is it a one-off case? We have several illegal structures across the country, and sometimes, the legal battles go on for decades. And, it may seem like the 10 years are even lesser. So, that's the kind of legal battle that several people across the country are going across. So, like he mentioned, it's an unprecedented verdict, so to speak. So, what happens now? What makes this case different from the other cases? Is it because of the safety hazard that it was, or is it something else?
Good morning, everyone. I think Supreme Court has time and again stepped in whenever there has been a gross violation. We have seen Supreme Court stepping in when the Maradu demolition happened in, Kerala. Supreme Court upheld that demolition as well because of the violation of the CRZ. So I think, like you rightly said, there are several gross violations, as my co-panelist rightly pointed out in the facts of this case. And I think what is important now is this: the Supreme Court has got into a lot of nitty-gritties and the obvious interpretation of certain provisions of whether it is an apartment ownership or any other provisions which was applicable in the facts of this case, and it throws some light of how Supreme Court is not going to sacrifice when it comes to environment, when it comes to the safety, when it comes to the fire hazard. And I think this will become a precedent for other developers when they are looking at it. And also, like rightly one of my co-panelists said, that I think this will also be very important that the casual attitude that some, if I may, I don't wish to generalize it, but some of the developers may have, that why don't we just carry on with the construction and we will regularize it later, is something which needs to, I think they need to really look very hard, because this is become a case where the Supreme Court has gone ahead and ordered demolition, which is going to happen now. Of course, Supreme Court has also obviously taken into consideration what are the safety principles to be followed. But I think more importantly, it is going to be a precedent which the other real estate developers have to keep in mind. Because, like I said, Supreme Court has time again interfered wherever there has been a gross violation. And, Supreme Court has also been very, rational in what are the cases which requires demolition. Now, unlike some other cases which might just be a small irregularity, here there was a threat to a lot of residents, because of certain principles of law was not followed. That there has to be a minimum distance between two towers. So 16 meters requirement was not followed. There were changes in the plans, sanctioned plans, after the flats were sold and permissions of the members were not taken. This goes to the very root of the letter of law. Very basic principles were not followed, apart from several other issues which were pointed out in detail by the Supreme Court. So this is going to be a precedent, and I think the takeaway should be how the builders, have to take certain aspects very seriously, because the consequences might not just be a monetary penalty, but a demolition, a penalty, other disciplinary action has been taken against certain directors of the developers, against the Noida officers. So I think this is going to be very carefully looked at by all the concerned people, and that's how I think the relevance of this and the distinguishing feature is.
That's right. In fact, this is a big message that's going on, and that's what we've been saying, that not just is it a victory for the residents who fought for this particular case, but it's also a ray of hope for people across the country who are stuck in such legal battles. And that's why this is so important. Let's give our viewers a little background of the case as well, the legality of the case as well. Supertech had approached Noida authorities for building of a structure for the towers. 14 towers is what they got permission for. That was back in 2005. The permission that they received was for 9 floors in each of the towers. The builder in 2009 got the project revised and the number of floors had been increased. Just look at the difference. In 2005, it was supposed to be only 9 floors. That was the permission that the builders had received, after which it had been changed completely. By 2009, there were, as of now, as it stands, there are about 30 floors in each of the towers. So that's the kind of violation that has taken place. The residents of the area, right next to it is a building called the Emerald Court. That's also, of course, of Supertech, and these are residents who had bought the building. They realized that there has been a change in the plan that was given to them. The 2 towers that have come in now, they were actually demarcated for a garden. That's the promise that the builders had made to the residents. But the garden area had been completely removed, and 2 big structures that even covered their house was a safety hazard suddenly came up. That's the reason why the residents decided to approach the Allahabad High Court for the kind of illegal structure. This was a violation of the UP Apartment Act, which needed a consent from the residents of the area. They had not given their consent, so they approached the High Court. And then, of course, we also had the Supreme Court give its verdict. So let's go across to the residents. Like we mentioned, this is the biggest victory for the residents of the area as well. Uday Bhan Teotia, who is the president of the Emerald Court Residents Association, whose victory this is really, is also joining us live. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Uday. This is a big victory for you. How do you feel? This is the moment that you've been waiting for.
You are absolutely right. The victory means everything. And this 10 years hard labor and the pains we have taken, especially 4 of us who have led this battle, it has never been done in the history of India. Everybody knows it, that the builder lobby is so strong that nobody could challenge it. But in 2011 and 12, we few people, especially 4 of us, I was the leader of that 4 people, and all of us, they believed that I can lead it, and since I was a little old also and having the experience of the judicial background and also army and paramilitary forces at my back, they always decided that you will only person who can lead this battle, otherwise nobody else, because whole country knows that what is the nexus between the authorities and the bureaucrats, politicians and the builders. Then we decided in 2012 that we will definitely take on the builder, so that the thousands and lakhs of people's customers who are in problems in this building, booking their flats and all, is justified, and they get the relief. After having done that, after fighting 10 years, I think we are very relieved and we are very happy that we have done something for the society, for the country.
Okay, very relieved. And you mentioned that this is a very big victory against the builder nexus that you spoke of. So I'm sure there were several challenges because taking on such builders is not easy. So tell us a little bit about the kind of challenges that you faced as well in this legal battle.
Yes, I did not lose the confidence, because I was very sure that once we are confident and we have the facts in our favor, as per the bylaws and by the rules and by notifications, then we are going to win. But certainly it was a question of how long we could carry on. And some of my people, most of the people in society, that you will not see the light of the day. And even in my own 4 persons committee, which we had formed as a legal committee, 1 or 2 persons, they thought perhaps we are not going to see the light of the day. But I somehow carried on and inspired them that no, we will see the light of the day, and the day has come after fight of 10 years. We have a lot of pains. You see, when we filed the case in Allahabad High Court, we were going in a 3rd class from Noida to Allahabad and come back in third class without reservations. So such, not once, it must have happened 10 to 15 times. Such type of pains we had taken it. And also we knew that we are going to face a very, very big power who has everything at his whims. Whether it is muscle power, whether it is a financial power, whether it is a political power, whether it is a political power. But still, we four people continue to fight, and the result is with you.
Right, and what a victory it was as well. It all comes down to this, of course, today being the D-Day, as the Twin Towers will finally be brought down. A big victory for the residents. What is it going to be like? We're going to talk about that, the preparations that are in place, the kind of methodology that's going in to bring down the structures. We're going to be talking about all of that. For now, slipping into a quick break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.